Just throwing it out there because I thought it was funny.
It's a great segue.
So you can see when it comes to Survivor, people didn't just go for surviving or keeping low mileage on the high-end cars. Here you have an Imperial, which was known to be the best of the best if you wanted to buy a Chrysler.
Was this really from New York? Because the license plate says New York.
I would assume so, yes. The lender's name is Charles Verana from Oakland Gardens, New York.
Well, I'm glad it was a Survivor car. That's awesome.
Well, keep in mind, Survivor means somebody probably has current insurance and registration because they drive it.
Oh, that's
So
true.
those are probably current, legit. I mean, it says historical. I think that's a modern, current license plate.
Did you say this was a Chrysler?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the Imperial line was the top of the line Chrysler, and they actually called it Imperial. So was it built by Chrysler? Yes, but the car was its own car. It was an Imperial. It wasn't a Chrysler Imperial, it was an Imperial. So they basically named their top of the line model.
And I like how this is also a Survivor car.
Well, there's a Buick Estate wagon, so you would think that, okay, that would be a really difficult car to restore if you had one that was in bad shape. This one here, again, is just so neat. When you look inside, you know that I think the individual that loaned this to us actually drove the car here from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. So with the station wagon, the nice thing is you can flip up the rear seat, and there was an additional seat in some of them where you could put the kids in.
I actually see posts on Facebook where my family members say, hey, remember this, like no seatbelts, no nothing. Why you have seatbelts today? Like we were fine.
Yeah, some of them had a seat that flipped up and the kids faced to back. Mm-hmm. Some of them had two little seats and the kids faced each other side to side. But this lender decided to leave the seats down so you could see how much cargo space was in there. Because before sport utility vehicles and people having trucks and things, you could go to the hardware store, buy home improvement items in your station wagon, get them home with ease. There's over 6 feet of cargo space in that station wagon with the seats down.
Wow.
You can look inside on this side. Isn't that neat?
That is neat. I love those station
I'm a station wagon owner myself. I like station wagons.
The problem is I wouldn't be able to drive it.
Oh, you'd be surprised. These cars had power steering and power brakes. And you can actually look out, instead of seeing your modern hood tapered off, you can actually see the corners of your car when you turn around. But you needed power options to park them. So there's even, we hide things all over. We have an unrestored Cushman Motor scooter back here from another area lender. This lender is he and his family are the owners of the Barbizon Modeling Agency in Enola. And he bought this Cushman motorcycle. They call it a scooter because the wheels are kind of small, like the wheels and tires they use on scooters. It looks like a motorcycle. But Cushman Motor Works from Lincoln, Nebraska sold this as their top model. It's called a Super Silver Eagle. So it was sold new at a place near the Harrisburg East Mall called Kalps. Kalps is still there selling modern motorcycles and power equipment. But they were a Cushman dealer, so they sold that new. Then they traded it in later and just kept it. And our friend John Roth bought this when they knew that he had it put aside, a Survivor, unrestored, and he just likes it like that. And he puts gas in it sometimes and gets it out and rides it around on a weekend. It's pretty cool. What would you rather ride, that or a new Harley?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Probably a new Harley.
I'd rather ride that.
Well, actually, honestly, I'd rather ride something with a boxcar side because.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a little small for a boxcar, though.
I know, but I just feel safer in a boxcar than a
We have an
back.
all-state scooter from the same era up on the upper mezzanine that has a sidecar utility. Now you could take the lid off and sit in it, but it's made for taking tools around like a factory. Like remember, Middletown had steelworks and stuff. They rode Vespa and Cushman scooters inside, I'm told, and that would be the perfect thing. If you have to drive down a 1,000,000-foot warehouse floor and do some work at the other end, it'd be great to have a utility scooter with all your tools in it. Just drive it down. So we have iconic Corvettes here. Here's one with the original paint as well, owned by a husband and wife in Carlisle.
Yeah.
Actually, Mechanicsburg, I'm sorry.
I just want to grab. I like that color car, and that is
You know, a 1993 Geo is starting to be a classic car that you don't see anymore, and this one is in fantastic shape.
I love the color.
Is it an antique car? No, but a lot of people will relate to a car. They grew up in these. And if you look in there, you see some 1980s and 90s cassette tapes. And it is a convertible. So that was a little 3-cylinder car, inexpensive car. And usually they were not taken great care of or preserved. And you can see this one was.
Yeah. I know, me too.
Yeah.
You don't see those anymore. Kids these days will be like, what's a cassette tape?
Betty
What's
White's
a CD?
car has an analog cell phone still in it.
My mom had those. She had a 93 Neon when they first came out. And it was like one of the, kind of like.
A Neon, I remember those.
Yeah, I don't think they make those anymore,
Oh,
do they?
absolutely not.
No, you see, my sister had a 98 Neon too, so I don't know when they stopped making Neons, but I remember they both each had a Neon, and my mom kind of had the earliest cell phone, which I didn't even know it was a cell phone. I forget. I knew it was a phone.
Is it in a bag?
It was in a bag. It was like a battery pack bag, a huge battery, and that was her original cell phone. Because she even said to me, she goes, "What did you think was in that bag?" I said, "I didn't know that was the whole phone." I said, "I just thought that was a car battery or something." I said, "I didn't know that was the whole phone." That was crazy.
Yep, we all had them. So our 1940s blends into a service station era, and we have lots of memorabilia and pieces and parts from like service stations and tools, tires changers, you know, how a 1940s and 50s era gas station would be. And of course the biggest thing that kids get a kick out of is how to get hold of the attendant. If you're, I don't know how old you are, but I'm over 50. So
Okay.
I can remember when you drove into the service station and you got the ding ding because your car ran over the bell cord.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a lot older than what I look. I'm actually 36 and late into your 40.
Okay.
So yeah, we kind of remember things like this.
There's a pneumatic hose that you drive over and it trips a bell sensor on the inside. So back in the day when you drove your front tires and then the rear tires over it, it told somebody inside that, hey, I'm here, I want to get some gas. And they would run out and give you your the whole spiel, which was...
I think they still do that in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. They come out and pump for you.
I've been told by some of our visitors that full service is kind of coming back at certain privately owned gas stations where they give you the greeting, they ask you how much gas you want, what kind, how you would like to pay for it, if they can check your oil or your coolant or check your battery. Now, this is a checklist of everything that they were supposed to ask you back in the day to keep the motor safe.
Yeah.
And potential. And I remember that in the day, my mom would get asked, "Did you need your oil checked, ma'am? Do you want to check your tires?" It was just all about service and keeping your car healthy and happy going down the road after you left their station.
Yeah,
So you see a lot of things in here, be it first aid kits, parts, cash register from the era, and they're all of your oil and lubricant service items. And there's an extension over here. You can see even more garage tools from the era that would be part of a service station that you pulled into in the 40s and 50s.
Did you get the checklist, Slayton?
That's some of our educational stuff. You know, we tell kids to go, you know, what are some of the things that they're supposed to ask you if you went into the service station with your, 1940s era car.
I don't see anything about a brake though on it.
Brake?
Yeah, like today they'd say check your brakes. I don't see anything about brakes on there.
Well, here's the deal. Brakes are extremely hard to check on your car that you just drove in. They're hot. And you have to jack it up and take a wheel off. So I'm not sure how they would do that. That's how they would get you. Maybe they'll ask you to come back and schedule an appointment.
True.